Ready for what, Bradley?
I know, I know. Oh, here we go. All right. If you have landed on this video, I apologize in advance.
Move along quickly.
That is, let's just say, who's our target audience? It is not you. How's that for a sales pitch? What are we doing here? Okay, if you weren't scared away by that, Spencer and I here, we are going to work through. I know the temptation is already just building. I just can't wait to hear more. We are going to work through the podcast slash YouTube channel that we want to build together. And I had the potentially not so brilliant idea of recording our sort of work in progress right here, mostly for ourselves as we work through things. But just in case anybody is looking to, well, for one, what I would really like is feedback on our content uh, based on what we say. And then also, if you're interested in starting a podcast or YouTube channel, this is, I was going to say the way to do it. This is one way to do it. Okay, that's enough of me, Spencer. Hi, how are you?
Doing good. I guess
Okay.
like what we should tell folks is as briefly as we can what the idea is,
Yeah.
and it's that you and I have had many conversations in the past about the future,
Yeah.
AI. What does it mean for our kids? What does it mean
Yeah.
for work? What does it mean for retirement? What does it mean like? And I think it's something that we see many people of all ages, of all backgrounds. We all have the same questions. The future is as unclear as it's ever been. And
Yeah.
we've had a lot of conversations about this, and I think it definitely helps to gather together in groups and talk to each other and figure stuff out. And for me, like that's the premise of this podcast is how can we best advise ourselves? How can we best advise our children? How can we best navigate the future when there is no map and the compass doesn't work anymore? Like,
Yeah.
what do we do with that? How do we, what's the things that we should be doing, should be thinking about? And yeah, wow, there's a million topics from you know, resilience to wealth and
Yeah.
across the board. And I think like I always remember my gran always used to say to me that there's this, it's like a three-legged stool in the kitchen that you need all three legs of the stool for it to remain balanced, that you can still sit on the thing and it works. And you can use this in a way that like if you think of the three legs of the stool as health, wealth, like the big
Yeah.
topics and
Yeah.
relationships. So like health, wealth, and relationships. So
Yeah.
in your life, you need all three of those to be functioning well, to have a stable, well functioning life. And you can one of them, if one of them is gets a bit wobbly, like work gets a bit wobbly, you can still sit on the thing and it's okay. If two of them get wobbly, suddenly
Yeah.
your health and work get wobbly, then it's going to start getting really hard to sit on this thing and keep it stable. And so I think for me, it's how do we keep those three things, relationships, health, and wealth, to keep our stool stable that we can sit on it, to use a very weird analogy, but it's something my gran used to talk about a lot. But yeah, so that was a bit of a ramble, but that's how I see what this thing could be.
I like these three. I had I had health, wealth, then I had sort of travel, expat, international, and then family and parenting. But relationships covers because you could say family, parenting, friendships, romantic relationships, business relationships. I like the health,
Yeah,
wealth, relationships.
and it also goes into your local community. It goes into all the weirdness that is social media and all of the politics of division where you're in this tribe and I'm in this tribe. And I think like relationships these days, we have more virtual relationships than we do non or in real life relationships sometimes. So I think it's yeah, If I had to try and distill it down to three things, that those three would probably be it. But I like your addition of the travel side, the lost gypsies side.
Yeah.
That almost feels like maybe we have a four-legged stool.
Well, okay, because what our so I just spent almost 3 months in the States, and I was born in the US and I have a US passport. But in the States, if I can be the American, I can do it. Right. But when I meet people and I say, oh, I live in Europe, they're, whoa, what? That's crazy. Right? It's a huge different thing. And that's, I think, Spencer, where you and I really get to talking is these whole, and we've got to use the right words here because like expat means a certain thing, international means another thing. And so I don't even know what to call it, right? Multicultural or living in different countries, but we've grown up with like, our families and have grown up in different countries, speak multiple languages. We currently both live in a country we were not born in.
Yeah.
And not only do I think this is just interesting, but especially in the state of the planet, I think the number one conversation I would have with the Americans when I was just there for several months was, "Wow, lucky you! How do I get over there?" And I don't. I'm not saying I want to turn this into a how to get a visa program. Not at all.
Yeah.
But I just see it as because if I'm looking for our, our added value, our unique selling proposition, right? You and I are the two guys, and we can also talk about health, wealth, and relationships. Awesome. But what's our angle? And this is where I think our angle or our spice or flavor is different than two American guys or two British guys or two Dutch guys. We're two guys who have international families who live in a different country. And that, because that makes up a lot of the other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So,
it's who we are, right? Like as you know, I've started speaking or talking about resilience a lot, but like
yeah.
when I looked back and thought about, okay, what was it in my life that gave me certain things that I could use as resilience? It was, and you're the same, that we've spent a lifetime putting ourselves out of our comfort zone. We've done things, whether it's improv, public speaking, moving countries, different languages,
Yeah.
relationships with people from different countries that like the for us change is kind of a positive. It's not a scary thing. And I think when you look at what's happening to the world now and definitely the next 5 to 10 years before we discover whatever AI will do to the world, is that the one thing that we know for sure that's going to happen is change.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have no idea what that change is going to be, but there's going to be change. So I think for me, it's thinking about how can we best equip ourselves to navigate extreme change, because I would imagine that's probably what's going to happen. We don't know whether it's going to be good, bad, weird, funky, all of it, who knows? But I think like that is something that you and I have done an enormous amount of work on over an enormous amount of years from different directions, but being comfortable with change really helps.
I just moved that up in, okay, a technical note. Spencer and I just spent way too long trying to also share a document and have our videos here on Zoom. We could not figure it out.
And if
But
anybody knows, please tell us.
maybe we should have an episode on, hey
Yeah.
guys, it's
How to
real
have
simple.
two people sharing the same document and on screen at the same time. Impossible.
There's going to be people that like unsubscribe. These guys can't even get a document on their Zoom call. Come on, how are they going to teach me about anything? But we are resilient. We will follow through. Anyway, this change. I like this. This could even be a the umbrella, and because we talked about health, wealth, relationships. Well, they all have. If everything stayed the same, then none of this other stuff matters, right? Health, wealth, relationships. Oh, my health consistently stays the same, and nothing ever goes bad or worse or better. Great, check. New
Yeah.
wealth. Oh well, my income is the same forever, and so are my costs, and everything's all perfect. Great, yay! I mean, my relationships and my kids just stay the same age. Oh, by the way, I stay the same age as well forever. So
Yeah.
I like this. I mean, change. It's a huge topic.
Yeah, and if you think about the going back to the analogy of the three-legged stool, like I always think those three legs are not equal. Health is the most important one. Like we all know, if our health disappears, everything else becomes irrelevant. Like we just want our health back.
Yeah,
And when I think about the amount of change that's happening, and every single person I know, whenever I meet them for coffee, dinner, in the street, whatever, it doesn't take long before somebody starts talking about the future and AI and what's happening, and I'm
yeah,
scared about losing my
yeah,
job and how am I going to earn money, and I think like the second those kind of things start to impact our sleep and what we eat and how much
yeah,
time we spend doom scrolling on our phones, that makes the health leg of the stool a lot less stable. And I think like so for me, I think it's becoming more and more important that we are okay with change. And I guess for me, this kind of goes to resilience in the sense that, as I've done a lot of thinking about this, but
yeah.
that it's the river and the boat. It's the what can I control and what can I not control, and this for that because people won't know what that means, the river and the boat. But this comes from something I read years ago when I was traveling as a young man, and I read it somewhere, and it was a parable about, you can't control where the river goes. You can't control if it's fast water, slow water, if there's rapids, if there's a waterfall. All you can do is
Hmm.
be the best navigator of your boat. So the analogy is that your life is the river and you are the boat. So you can't control that AI is happening. You can't control what Elon Musk is going to do and change the face of the planet. All we can do is control how we show up and how we navigate it and how we look after ourselves. And I think that that's becoming a more important skill to separate in our head what can we actually control, because if I can't control it, I don't want to be destroying my health over it because I'm stressing about it, I'm losing sleep, I'm doom scrolling or whatever. But actually what I need to do is have a daily practice of actually what can I control, because I can control how I show up. I can try and control what I do and how I do it. And yeah, it's not perfect. There's going to be days when that all goes out the window and I'm going to do way too much doom scrolling. This for sure happens.
Yeah.
So I think, but I think it's the many times it's being aware of something is the first step to building a habit around improving it. But yeah,
So being aware, that's also an interesting sort of topic because if you and I have this podcast, YouTube channel, we are being more aware. You know, they say if you really want to learn something, teach it. And
yeah,
I'm not saying we are going to be teachers necessarily of these topics, but we're becoming more aware by talking about them. And then
yeah,
ideally, we have a topic of the week, and we're going to do a little homework and dig a little more because, as brilliant as you and I are, we had to do a little homework for our topic of the week. Then we're going to learn more, and then
yeah,
the two of us talking about it to share more and to build awareness. And what comes to mind is also confidence. Just this morning, I will tell you more details later, but just this morning, let's just say I spoke with a mutual friend of ours from Slovenia,
yeah.
and
I know who you mean.
he's got a big decision to make and big plans. And he's coming to me for advice. And he says, you know what though? At the end of the day, wherever I go or whatever happens, I'll be all right. Because exactly what we're talking about here, the change and resilience. And the word I wrote down in our document was mindset, right? How can you have a mindset of the change is going to come? I can whine about it and bitch and moan about it, or I can do something about it if there's something to be done about it. And I mean, you know the guy, of course, and he's
Yeah.
so optimistic and so positive, and he's like, whatever happens, I'm gonna make it work. And if it's challenging, then I'll bust my butt and and make it work.
Yeah, I'm always, again, this is something that came from my traveling days, but th I had this realization pretty young, like mid 20s, where I was like, actually, nothing really matters. Like if you really think about it, like and it's something that's been around on. I've seen it on social a bit as well, where there's a video where it talks about 100 years from now, nobody will remember you. Somebody else will be living in your
Yeah.
house. You'll be
Yeah.
gone. Nothing matters. So yes, it does because we care about what people think. We care about what we're doing. We care about how much money we have, how much freedom we have. Like things do matter. But
Yeah.
actually, if you can let yourself off the hook and think, I'm just doing the best that I can right now with what I have and what skills I have. And I think like, eventually letting yourself off the hook and thinking nothing really matters. It's
Yeah.
for, at least for me, I find it gives me a lot of freedom or agency to just do things maybe that I wouldn't have thought of doing before. So I think,
Yeah.
not getting too lost in the what's it gonna all mean, what's gonna happen, but just understand that we need certain skills, and that's the other thing, that things like resilience, mindset, it's a skill, like it's a practice, it's something that you can definitely foster for sure.
So I was thinking of you quickly glossed over how we met, and we met through. So Spencer lives in Amsterdam, and I live outside of Utrecht in the Netherlands, and we met at improv comedy class at in Boom Chicago in Amsterdam. And speaking of resilience, if you can do improv, like I'm a little bit of the opinion, if you can do improv, you can do anything. And in a way, I mean, improv is in a way it is resilience. It's a way to come at a problem. You say, well, let's study it for 17 years and figure out the best path, or all right, let's just go for it and see where we can go. But I mention it because I'm thinking of I want to make a list here. So I'm all about YouTube lately, and in YouTube you can make a poll, like a text poll. They're very popular. It's fun because people love voting on stuff. And I was thinking, and actually I can't remember. Is it three? I'm going to take a quick peek here. Is it three, or is it four or five things? I'm just going to check.
Well,
So
whilst you're finding that,
yeah,
the improv thing, I think when you spoke about it, I was like, actually, it also links to nothing matters. So
yeah,
the great thing about improv is the more you fail on the stage, the funnier it is and the better experience for the audience. So
yes, yeah,
actually, like we're taught, the my only objective when I step onto that stage is to make you, my scene partner, look good.
yeah,
And your only job is to make me look good. And I
yeah,
think, like, what happens outside of that? Yeah, sure, we've got some guide rails, but actually, nothing really matters. Just have fun. Like, so
yeah.
improv. Yeah, I agree. Improv is, I think everybody on the planet should spend 6 months doing improv, definitely.
Oh, you're gonna you're gonna get some hate. You're gonna get some hate comments on that one.
No, no, definitely. I'll take it. I'll take it.
What? You're
Yeah.
crazy. No way in the world.
But
Poke my
remember,
eyes out with a
nothing
fork.
matters.
Yeah. Okay, I just checked, and there are four things. So YouTube polls, because what I would love to do is, I don't know how we're going to do this, but I would love to have four topics that people could vote on that they would like to hear me and Spencer to hear me and Spencer, grammar, sorry, to hear me and Spencer talk about in this upcoming podcast. And I don't, and maybe this is where we get into hierarchies. Like maybe it turns into an episode, or is this one of the, hey, you know what? Four actually goes back to you had the three-legged stool or the four-legged chair. So four is an interesting number. So I wonder if we could get it down to four, or even, not set in stone, but four, because you started out with health,
Health, wealth, and relation.
wealth, relationships, and
And
then do you have a fourth that comes to mind, or
it was more the travel, lost
Oh yeah,
gypsies, that kind of thing.
travel. So you know what we could do? We could do okay, health, wealth, relationships, travel, and we could also it's open for comments. People could comment. I mean, based on for the diehards who are still watching this fantastically wonderful video.
Yeah, yeah. We know you want to watch it again.
Just put it on repeat. What topics? Well, also because I know I'll make shorts out of this, and I want to get to a point where, okay, what are the main topics? This is difficult, right? What we're doing here is
Yeah, and
difficult.
it's what questions do we all have? I think,
Hmm,
it can be questions. How do I navigate the future
that's
when
good.
everything's uncertain? How can I advise my kids on a career when the future is so uncertain? How can I build wealth when maybe earning money is totally different? How do I protect my health when more and more of my life is on the phone? Like I think these are the juicy questions that we all are tackling with and trying to figure
Yeah.
out.
So then, okay, because I'm a big podcast listener and YouTube watcher, and so I'm going to want to know. Okay, you have these big questions. Who are the? I'm going to play the devil's advocate. Who are these two guys to tell me, right?
Yeah,
And that's where I was kind of going to what are our strengths and how did we meet? And we got improv and we have international and we have, well, I guess it's the same thing, multilingual, but international. Speaking, we've barely mentioned speaking. You come
yeah,
from a speaking, professional speaking background and more writer background and that, but we're still creating, we're creating stuff. So I'm just curious about if I see this matrix or that what are the overlapping circles called? Gantt,
like
the
Venn
Gantt,
diagram. Yeah,
Gantt chart. Venn. Thank you.
yeah,
The Venn diagram. So okay, here's what we could talk about. Here are the topics, and here's what we're good at. And then if you want to add a third one, here's what we like, right? Because we can talk about taxes. I can tell you all about taxes. I know way too much about international taxes.
and this,
Uh,
ladies and gentlemen, is your needing to get to sleep playlist at night. Bradley on taxes.
First of all, yeah. So, but exactly, right? Like
Yeah,
I currently know a lot about like US and Dutch and
yeah,
Italian taxes, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
boring as hell, except for that rare individual for whom it's important information. So,
yeah.
where's that Venn diagram of the what and the who and the kind of the why, and
I,
what's that
I,
for
yeah,
us?
I think we're all in this boat together. We're all sailing into the distance and we have no idea of the destination.
Yeah,
And we don't really know where to navigate. And nobody has the answers because nobody truly knows what the future will be. So I think it's, yeah, what are the questions we should be asking? It's a bit like you know, give me an hour to answer a question and I'll spend 50 minutes asking the question a hundred different ways. But yeah, like what are the questions we should be asking ourselves? What are the skills that we should be building? How can we frame things? Like just something, give us the scaffolding, something to, you know,
yeah,
maybe I don't know, maybe the analogy is a map or something like that. But yeah,
yeah,
I think we're all in this boat together. So even just having these conversations and we'll bring in other people to interview and have conversations with,
yeah,
and we can figure this thing out together.
yeah. That sounds fun. I like it. Fun is a big element. You and I often talk about this. It's got to be fun.
Yeah.
And we've got to have fun. And ideally, the audience is having fun, except for that thrilling tax episode. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. All right. I have a big list of things here, but I think they're smaller. I think they're more, I've got entrepreneurship, passive income, investing, real estate, social media, lost gypsies,
They all, a
legal.
lot of those come under wealth. Like
Yeah,
entrepreneurship, I think, is a massive topic. I mean, if you
yeah,
think about anybody under the age of 25 today,
yeah,
being an entrepreneur is probably the best skill
yeah.
set you could possibly develop right now. Because again, that's about flexibility and adapting to change and pivoting and working with minimal resources, working fast. So I believe, yeah, entrepreneurial skills are something that's going to be
Yeah.
incredibly important.
But you're right. That could go under, wealth.
Wealth. Yeah.
Wealth is an interesting one because you originally had something like work or something, and I thought
Yeah.
work is too.
Narrow.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I could.
Wealth covers pensions, tax, work, building skills,
Right,
side
right.
hustle, like anything. Like
Yeah, you're right.
you
Yeah.
could even stretch it further into non-monetary wealth. Like maybe the travel and the experiences and the joy that also goes into wealth becomes like a more holistic. I have a
Ooh,
wealth of not just a wealth money wise, but a wealth
you're right.
of joy
Yeah,
and experiences and things like
yeah.
that. So,
That's a fun angle, right? I'm thinking, they say health is wealth, for example, but as a topic, because as a title, like we were looking at titles, and we had words like hope, and then but well, I wonder, like, wealth. It's such an interesting word. It's sort of a, I don't know what your take on the word wealth is, but I really get into digging into words, and wealth is often, it's like this luxury thing.
yeah,
Whereas exactly like you said, that health is wealth, but also it could be non-monetary. And so what is wealthy really? Well, wealthy is, a lot of people say wealthy is freedom or choice.
yeah,
I have the choice to choose where I'm going to go to lunch, right?
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I like the
yeah. And
word
I
wealth.
think
That's cool.
it's something I've definitely been on a journey these last 2 or 3 years. But when you see at the moment, because all of our governments are putting the overdrive button on the money printer, that the value of every currency is plummeting. That, we
Yeah,
all know that I used to buy a jar of coffee for €5 only a year ago, and now it's 10. It's
yeah,
doubled. All this
yeah,
like 3% inflation and all the massage figures that the governments give, throw it in the bin. We all know that our shopping bill has doubled in the
yeah,
last year. So I think for me, we absolutely need to think about these things and to figure out, yeah, I need to not keep cash in the bank. If I'm lucky enough to have some cash in the bank, but I'm going to buy shares, or I'm going to buy
yeah,
Bitcoin, or I'm going to
yeah,
I'm going to buy something that will go up, because if I don't, the most sobering fact was that the euro, which obviously we're in Europe, but like lost 20% of its value in the last 5 years. So
yeah,
that for me is like, that shows you where this thing is heading, and it looks like the governments now can't not print money. They have to keep doing it. They're stuck in
yeah,
this game that they set off to play, and yeah. So I think that it almost becomes something that we have to think about and to take care of and to look at and to teach our kids.
yeah. I love the teach our kids part. I mean, we'll talk about that more later, but you've really helped me, you, Spencer, have really helped me with some ideas for, well, speaking of growing wealth with the
Yeah,
kids. And we're really taking some uh, concrete steps. So I want to make a note on that. I think you and I, another reason we get along is our curiosity
yeah,
and our passion for learning, right? I mean, we'll get more into it later, but Spencer is currently taking this intensive 6 month program. You can tell us, it's a little teaser for later episodes, but you are just getting a fire hose of information and
yeah.
and
I mean,
learning so much and
yeah,
sharing it, sharing with me, but also we can share what you've learned, or whatever, some of it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
definitely.
it's
I'm always happy to share anything that I've learned, but I think that's actually an important thing that you mentioned, in the sense that having a curiosity is another one of those critical skills. We all say it's one of the soft skills, it's a critical skill, but actually it is. And I think now we have the amount of, information and intelligence has just become dirt cheap. I
Yeah.
pay I pay 20 euros a month for Claude AI, and I have access to such an amazing amount of intelligence. So
Yeah.
what drives what I get from that is my curiosity now. And where do I take it? And how can I ask better questions? How can I be more creative? How can I be more curious? How can I push it to go further? So I think, yeah, the soft skills, communication,
Yeah.
creativity, confidence, you know,
Well,
they're all,
confidence too.
yeah, yeah. I think these are the things that now we have to, they always used to be seen as second class citizens to the hard
Yeah.
skills, but what we see at the moment is the hard skills are becoming, you have every hard skill you need for 20 bucks a month.
Yeah.
So if I can have the most intelligent person sat on my desk for 20 bucks a month, it's about something else now. It's not
Yeah.
about those things,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, learning. I think learning for me, learning gives me joy. I'm always happy when I'm learning something new. So that's always been that. That's what led me to. It's what led me to improv. It's what led me to many things. Is this insatiable curiosity to learn more things?
You know, and well, learning, it helps with change.
Yep.
Because I currently have at the top of my organizational chart there is change. But I fear that it's such a big topic. I'm not even sure that it's a topic because everything's changed really.
Yeah.
Because then if currently I have health, wealth, relationships, travel, because I want to get those four things into that little voting quiz thingy.
Yeah.
But change, I don't know. Change is too big. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I like it.
Yeah. Change connects. It's like uncertainty. Like the only certainty is uncertainty, and I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's in everything. That's in health, wealth, everything.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna send out a little call out here, and I'll probably make a little clip of this. But if you're watching, or if you're only watching this tiny little clip, we're looking for a major umbrella. We're looking for a name for this channel or podcast. Can you help us with the name? You got some ideas? And also, I'll put a link down to where those topics are in a YouTube quiz. You can go help with that. And if those four aren't doing it for you, or based on what you've heard, what else? What other topics would you want to hear? And go put it in the comments there, or put it in the comments under this video and let us know, what would you like this to be about? What could these two guys with their very specific character traits and knowledge and everything, what could we help with? What could we open up awareness for? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Sounds good. I think, like I said before, we're all in the same boat together. The future is
Yeah,
uncertain. Nobody's coming to help. So we need to figure this stuff out ourselves. And I think this is a nice way to do it.
yeah,
To build a community of people around how do we navigate the future when everything's uncertain.
yeah. Good, nice tagline there. How do we navigate the future when everything's uncertain? Okay, have we had enough? Are we good for now?
I think
Any
so.
last words?
No,
Okay.
all done.
All right. Awesome. If you are still watching at this point, you have a sticker that you are a fan, and we love you. And leave a comment
And they
below,
want your tax information.
and we will definitely have a tax episode. I know way too much. All right. Thanks, Spencer, for doing this. And I know we weren't sure it's the greatest idea. I'm still not sure it's the greatest idea, but it's just talking it through and getting it out there, and that already builds exactly what we're talking about. We've now made some of the uncertain a little more certain, kind of just by talking about it. So we're going to have that conversation, and we'll bring in experts in things where we are not expert, which is probably most things.
So is this like officially episode one? Are we that brave?
Well, it's either episode 0 or episode 1. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we're about forward-looking hope. So let's do
Yes.
this is
Yeah.
episode one, and it's up to you people watching. If anybody managed to get to the end, do, do we go to episode two? And what should be in episode two? Answer Bradley's quiz. And if you say tax, I'm going to go on mute and let Bradley take over.
I'm going. I'm out. I'm out. Spencer out.
Yeah.
All right. All right,
Thanks.
Spencer. Episode one in the
Two.
books.
Done.
All right. I'm hitting stop. We got to stop. All right. Thanks everybody for maybe not watching at all. And
Exactly.
see you next time. Bye.